Hello, Fast Learners. Welcome back to our channel, Fast Learn Hub. We thank you very much for following. And today we're going to be to go straight away in our tutorial. We have an assignment whereby we are asked to write a program that grades a coursework that is out of 40% and an exam that is out of 60% and obtain the final mark. And we shall also grade and assign a GPA. Without any further ado, let us jump into our VS Code and get started. Okay, in a folder, and then I'll go to the local disk to our HTML docs. HTML doc, and in here we have our folders, and allow me to create a new folder which we shall name as assignment 1. And we shall go on to open it. Okay, and now we have to consider a few things here so that we can be able to tackle this assignment. The first thing is that it's a program that grades a coursework that is out of 40% and an exam that is out of 60%. And then we have to get a final mark and also grade and assign a GPA. These four things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are containers. We have to create for them containers, which is a variable that they will do what? They will contain rather specific values. Okay, so in our VS Code here, I'm going to create our first file, which is index.php, and now php. Okay, to start with, I want us to know the steps that we're going to follow to be able to tackle this assignment. The first thing that we have to, step 1, we shall input. We're going to do hard coding here. I'll first just give in coursework marks and exam mark, and then later on in the tutorial, in the next video, maybe I'll showcase how we can prompt the user to give us the marks, the coursework marks and the exam mark. But for now, let us start with hard coding, whereby the first step is going to be, we're going to input the coursework. I'll input the coursework and the exam, and the second thing I will do, I will get percentages. I will literally get coursework and exam percentages, and then the other thing I will do, I will get the final mark, and we shall also decide on the grades. Then we shall grade them, and assign the GPA, and finally output the results. Shall output the results. Okay, so to start with, we're going to assign values to the coursework. So I'll create a variable. So to start with the first step here, I'll create a variable called coursework, but this is PHP. We assign it $simple coursework. Okay, because let me give it a value of like 35. Remember, this is out of 40. Okay, the next thing I'll assign is the exam. I'll perhaps keep it 50. and this is out of the coursework. The exam is out of 60. Okay. So if having done that, the next step is to get the to assign to get the coursework and the exam percentages. So this is quite simple. Once we have our coursework and exam, we can get their percentages, and to get the percentages we shall say coursework percent. I'll give it a variable percent, named percent, variable name which is percent. I don't know why I'm leaving out the e in coursework, and I'll have a formula of coursework to get the percentage, which I say coursework divided by 40, because the coursework is out of 40, and we shall go ahead and multiply it by 100. With this formula we are able to calculate the coursework percentage, and then we shall do the same for the exam. For the exam, we say exam percent. Okay, this will equal to, the exam is exam out of 60, we multiply it by 100. Okay, well, that's great. Okay, that being said, so we are also done with that. So the next thing is to get the final mark. So for us to be able to get the final mark, we shall give it a variable of let me say final total. I'll give it a total, the total equals 2. So to get the total, we shall have to add the coursework plus the exam to get the overall total of that individual. So we shall say coursework plus exam. Okay, with that we are able to get the total, but let's also get the total percentage mark. So I am creating a variable. This is PHP. We can't leave out the dollar symbol as we are assigning our variable names. So total, this will equal to the total, over 100 multiplied by 100. Okay, wow. So far we have worked on the coursework, the percentages, and the final mark. So we have to grade now. After getting this information, so we have to be able to grade this individual. That if you got a coursework mark of 35 out of 40, and in your exam you scored 50 out of 60, and you got a total which we obtained from adding the coursework plus the exam. So literally, what is your grade? Are you what grade? How are you graded? Are you going to get an A? Have you scored a B or a C? And I think you're seeing that there's a condition in here, because people get different marks. So we have to have conditions that in case you got 60 and above, you are getting a A. In maybe 60 and below, 59 and below, you have a B, something like that. I'm trying to give you a thing that we are going to use a condition. So we can either use a switch, we can use if statement. So in this case, let's continue with the grade and assignment. So for grade and assignment, we have to use some conditional statements. For example, like a switch, we can say if our condition, if the condition goes in a bracket, that if the total mark is greater than or equal to, say, 70, and the and operator, and that total, the total is less than 100. Actually, less than or equal to layer, less than or equal to 100. What should we do? So in case the person gets scores between 70 and 100, okay, so we shall say that the grade, we shall grade you that your grade will be A. You would have scored A, and then your GPA there will be 4.0. Okay. However, what if that is not true? Else, if you're not in that range, else if we'll give you another condition that in case you're not in that range, so maybe your total is, if your total is greater or equal to, greater than or equal to 60, and this total, the total mark is less than 70, that's a condition. What should we do? We should there your grade will be then the grade will equal to a B. You will have scored a B, and your GPA will be a 3.0. Okay. Then there's also another person maybe who is not between those ranges, two ranges. Else if condition, if the total again, the total is, let me say greater or equal to 50, and operator, the total is greater than 60. That's a condition. So what should happen? Open your brackets, your curly brackets, then the grade will be, your grade will be say C, and then then your GPA will be at 2.0. Okay. Yeah, we still have more options. That else, well, this is the last, I think this will be the last option. Okay, we still have a D. Else if, we give a condition, if the total is greater than or equal to say 45, okay, and the total is less than 50, yes, what should happen? Then I literally your grade will, you would have scored a D, and then your GPA will be a 1.0. So lastly, if you're below, else my brother, if you are below the 45 and the 50 range, your grade will literally be, you will have scored yourself an F. No one has to be here, and your GPA will be at 0.0. Yeah, so we have this grading system that we are going to be using. We are literally using the if statement, whereby we have if and a condition in a bracket, and then in the curly brackets, that what happens if one of the condition is fulfilled. In case condition 1 is fulfilled, you are in grade A and your GPA is 4. In else if If yeah, condition 2 is fulfilled, you are in B, and so on and so forth. Okay, so having done that, the only last thing we are done with the inputting, the coursework, the final mark. Now we are assigned the grading system that we are using, that these conditions, and then let's output the results. We have to output and see what are we literally programming. Okay, that being mentioned, let's continue. So it's about the last step is going to be output the result. We want to output the results. Okay, all right. So in outputting the results, we are going to, how we talked about what we literally use to output results. We output results in PHP by echoing. One of the ways we use the echo word. Okay, so we shall say echo let me say, what should we echo? We should say, let me say the coursework. Because we are requested in the assignment to write a program that grades a coursework and an exam and a final mark and grade and assign. So these are things we're going to echo. We're going to echo out the coursework mark, echo out the exam mark, echo out the final mark, the grade, and the GPA. Okay, yeah, let's continue. So coursework, let me use small letters. So I'll say coursework, let me say coursework score, so the spelling of score. We shall call the coursework by its variable, which is coursework. I think we shall use the percentage. We have a coursework percent. We calculated that percent. Okay, I'll give it a percentage sense too. Okay, then we shall go on and okay, that's it. Coursework, it's like that, and then the same thing. Let me just copy this. I'll paste this echo. Now this was the coursework score. This now I'll just edit this to our exam score. Echo out the exam, and this is given by the exam, the percentage exam. We have exam percent, okay, and then later on we're also going to do the same thing to echo out the final total mark. So final total mark, I'll say final mark the final mark is going to be given by, we had a variable which was total. It was total percent. I hope you remember that, total percent. And finally we shall echo out the grade. Echo the grade. Okay, and finally we have to echo out the GPA. Echo GPA, and its variable was, what was it? GPA small. Yeah, GPA. Well, okay, so that's the results we have, and I hope we are good to I'm not terminating. I have to terminate so that we don't get errors. Terminate. Okay, echo. Okay, that being said, okay, now we are good to go and output our results, and we see whether we are somewhere. Okay, so I'll go to my browser. I'm using Chrome. I'll go to local host, enter. When I go localhost, in my, remember this is a server that directs us to the HTML doc, and inside the HTML doc we have these folders. There's my first PHP website. Yeah, we have session 2, and then we have also this assignment. So our assignment 1 is here. So when I open it, oh, this is what we are getting. Okay, one thing we can do so that we are displaying, because we have a coursework which is 87.5, then an exam score which is 83.333%, the final mark is 85%, and then the grade. With this grade you have a A and a GPA is 4. So maybe we can what we can also do, let's put everything in a new line. So after echoing out as coursework, we shall use a break tag br to go to the next line. I'll copy this to all these others. Okay, yeah. Save. I go back. I refresh. Okay, so this is what we have. So we have our coursework score as 87.5, the exam score as 83.5, and final mark as 85, and the grade. Okay, yeah, so far we're doing good. However, this exam score, it has a lot of decimal places, so we can as well figure out how to round off this to the nearest what decimal places. So we can add that somewhere here after okay, let me say after the final mark, before we go to the grading and the assignment of the GPA. We can as well just say we're going to round off. We shall get the round values. Okay, let me say round values. Okay, so with this I can say that it's want to round off what according to the output exam score. Okay, the exam score, I'll say exam, actually we have it already. We have it here, the exam. Copy. I'll just come and paste it here. The exam percent equals. So what do we use to round off? We just use a prefix that is number format. It is called number format. So we want to format this the format of that number. So we go ahead and say that the number format will be given by the exam score. That is the value that inside the bracket you write there number format, that inside that the number of the exam percent, you want to get decimal places, 2 decimal places. If I say 3, it will be 3, but now I say that the value I get on the exam percent, I want it to be in the format of 2 decimal places. Let us first save that and we go back and refresh on our browser. Oh, there's an error. Okay, let's find out. Perhaps we didn't terminate. Let's go again and refresh. Yeah, so when we introduce the number format, so we are seeing that our exam score is now 83.33, 2 decimal places. Now for consistency, I also want the coursework score to also be 2 decimal places instead of 1. Okay, so what I'll do the same. I'll just do 1 decimal place for the exam percent. I'll just do 1 decimal place, and then so that we have the consistency in the when I refresh. Yeah, so that is what we have. So we have the coursework score as 87.5, exam score as 83, and when you add both, we shall get a final mark of 85. And the fact that when you go into this percentage of 80 something, on our grading thing we are using, it lies between 70 and 100. Okay, So that is why they are grading that individual to have a A and a GPA as 4.0. Okay. So that being said, allow me to stop this tutorial here. However, for us to have something that is really user friendly and it's user friendly and it is great to present, we can add in a form so that we can display these things very well. And also we can also prompt the user to give us his or our marks for the coursework and the exam, not like the way that this time around what we did, we just did a hard code whereby we assigned the value, the coursework value, just in our code. Well, so in our next video, we are going to just use the very codes that we have done, but the only thing we are going to change now, we are going to prompt the user to give us this coursework mark and the exam mark, and also we shall maybe display them in a form way that is better and it's nice looking for the end user to really visualize. Thank you very much for watching. Please consider to subscribe, comment, and like. Love you. Take care.